Overindulging during the festive holiday season isn't just bad for the waistline, it can also be bad for your heart.
In tonight's Health Beat, Meredith Wood explains why there seems to be a rise in those visiting the emergency room with heart problems during this time of the year.
Holiday heart syndrome. It sounds like something brought on by missing family and friends this time of year, but it actually has to do with your diet. The holiday season is known for enticing even the strictest eater to indulge. Buffets, festive sugary treats, and endless amounts of alcohol are around every corner. And doctors say that can be trouble for your heart. Holiday heart syndrome was coined back in 1978 to describe the dramatic increase in patients going to the emergency room complaining of irregular heart rhythms during the holidays. Atrial fibrillation, or AFib, is a racing or irregular heartbeat. The fluttering feeling often comes with other symptoms like lightheadedness or shortness of breath. Cardiac specialists believe excessive alcohol consumption this time of year can increase the risk of AFib. Add to that salty, fatty foods, holiday stress, and not enough sleep, it can become the perfect storm. But don't feel like you can't enjoy the party atmosphere. Experts say taking simple steps will help you avoid holiday heart syndrome. Be conscious of how much alcohol you're drinking and make sure you stay hydrated. Limit salty snacks, keep up with your exercise and sleep routines. These things will help you enjoy a safe and happy holiday season.
You know how we do it, Commander General, feeding the people, down here in Trinidad. You see what's going on. With the rain right now and condition of the people right now is real bad. So I need to big up Commander General Yana, for all, the work that's put in over the years, that we could raise up, young black men down here in Trinidad and could do the same as well in his footsteps. Let me get that.
And fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary. It's all about that warfare, boy. Back up. It's all about that warfare, boy. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. My soldiers take ground till I'm stand down. Take ground. Now take on take round. Opponents better move slow. Attack dog for this truth. Nigga, cool yo. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till I stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till I stand down. Oh, thought you could cross us with no consequence, but you will pay dearly. You should've used your common sense. My steel lit, that means you could never prevail. Hey, with a true sin, hey, with warriors dwell. Be wise with the weapons, cause I promise. My nine just like my wife, she concealed, she modest. I know 2 things, a robber will not prosper. And any man harm me and my aunt gon' meet the doc. Cause this life is warfare, it's not an easy walk. Been watching my people die so you can miss me with that love talk. My UPK soldiers, any man try to cross your path, make him regret what that means. Fall on his age. Comparing me to you really ain't no contest. Long live one West. Say what? Long live one West. This for those who thinking we ain't ready for. Tell them back up. I'm about to drop something heavy for. Go to ground, 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 go to ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground, give ground, back up, give ground, give ground. It's all about that warfare, boy. Take ground, 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 take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down. Take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground, take ground. My soldiers take ground till them stand down.
ISUPK, Trinidad and Tobago, under Commanding General Yohana. We will be live on the streets, 91.9 FM.
One West to the death till they bury me.
Every Thursday from 7 p.m. Hosted by Officer Sawapyala and Officer
One
Maskoya.
West to the death till they bury me. I'm one West till they bury me.
ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Live every Thursday night from 7 p.m. on the streets, 91.9 FM.
Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, one who anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play, cause y'all gon' make them money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on Congo.
American honor don't like no soldiers. We the spirit of the Lord. We don't like no soldiers.
Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ and they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love. Scriptures say he hate African soft niggas. They know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell, totally connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dreams. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of war. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shot. On my life, I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, ranking order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ice agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chose.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí con forma de Trinidad Hana na ESPK. This is what Commander General Hana. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Brakatah to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemai Latan, Bashem Yahushai to all the sisters. Prison Officer Matt Koyak of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, which started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. And in this school, it is the truth according to the Bible, that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you are part of the 12 lost tribe of the nation of Israel. And that this Bible, this book holds your culture, your history, your heritage, something that belongs to you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, which was given by your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? Before we get into the class tonight, again, school location, light pole number 1, Morris Street in Point 14, right? That's right by the road by the Wassam office, right? In Point 14 is swinging there. You see the big sign on the wall, left-hand side. That'll be the second building, right downstairs. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Light pole number 1, Morris Street in Point 14. If you need to get in contact with the school or the officer above me, right, Officer Swapi, I could get them at 479-8286. Number again, 479-8286. If you need to get to the captain over him, the captain over the school here in Trinidad, you can contact him at number 1202-701-4640. Again, number 1202-701-4640, right? You could also send WhatsApp messages as well. Again, check us out on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads. Check us out on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the channel so that they will keep updated on things that are happening throughout the nation, things that keep happening throughout the school. Share it with your friends and family also, so that they will be informed, they will understand what the Israelite school is all about, right? Right now, we are in the Feast of Dedication for Hanukkah, with the space of 8 days, which started on Sunday, 14th of December. What we have upcoming, the next upcoming feast, next upcoming high holy day is Purim, 14th day and 15th day of the 12th month, which will be Monday, the 2nd and the 3rd of March, 2026. Right? You can find that in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 20 to 31. Again, stay tuned to all the pages so that we'll keep informed of how that going down, right? Check us out on 91.9. Myself and Officer Sowapiala will be on 91.9 FM every Tuesday, right? You may see brothers interchanging ever so often, but we will be hosting the show every Tuesday. Tune into the show You understand? If you want, you could call in, ask your questions. You could ask your questions before, right? Just message us on the numbers provided before. We'll get the answers for you if you want to listen in on the show and hear, you know, your answers coming through the airwaves, right? So we'll be on 91.9 every Tuesday from 7 p.m. We also have the Lord's 57th annual Passover, which will be hosted in Houston, Texas. $200 per person. Anybody 17 years and older. You understand? You know, any age under that children will be free. Right? So tonight we're going to the class. Tonight's class will be Christmas. We'll start part 1 on Christmas, you know. Other brothers will also join in the continuity because we'll be taking this straight on to the Christmas time, the Christmas day, and after, because of course, coming into the New Year's, the Christmas celebration goes right into the New Year's also, you understand? And all these holidays is pagan holidays, you understand? These are the holidays that we as a people, we're not supposed to be celebrating it. Title of the class tonight is Christmas, the customs of the people are vain, because many things that we do as Black people here in Trinidad or in the Caribbean islands, what we don't understand is the things that we're doing when it comes to the traditions that we are accustomed to. These things are vain. These things are not of the Most High. And we as a people, we ought to be separate, as the scriptures tell us to be. We ought to be separate. We ought to be holy. You understand? But of course, you know, we go to church generation after generation, year after year, and we never learn the things that we as a people need to understand in order for us to start recognizing who we are as a people, who is our God, and the things that we need to do to serve Him. You understand? But in the Israelite school, that is why we say it is a school. You understand? When you hear Bible, most people, when they hear Bible, some people run. They can't deal with that Bible thing because why? The atrocities at the Christian church, because they hold the Bible and they are the ones that are supposed to be the gatekeepers for Black people, but they are not. They're not teaching the Bible. So some people, when they hear the Bible, they flee. Some other people, when they hear the Bible, they like to debate. You understand? Showing that the image that they give us, that is white, that is our Christ, that is our God, when all these things are lies. You understand? But in the school, we teach the truth according to the Bible. You understand? Christ is a Black man, the prophets are Black, all the angels Black, you understand? World War III is at hand. We show you your history, all your records, you understand? And we as a people now could learn and know what it is we need to do as a people, right? So we're going to get into the class. Let me start with Deuteronomy 7 and 6, right? For new people that may be watching in or listening, because this is something very important that we need to know. The Lord made us, you understand, to be a separate people from all people upon the face of the earth. Black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people. We are not supposed to be intermingling. When I say intermingling, don't mean that you can't do business or trade with these other nations. You understand? We're talking about marriages, making marriages with them. You understand? Making covenants with them. We as a people, we're not supposed to be doing these things. Why? The Lord told us that we are supposed to be separate. And if we as a people keep, you understand, the laws of the Most High, we was going to be above all these races that we see in here today on the earth. You understand? We was going to be more or less, we could say, the ruling class on the earth. And we now were supposed to take these laws and give it to these other nations. You understand? Because they now will be following after us. They will be following after our ways. You understand? So let me get to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Right? These rules and regulations, you understand, was read to us by our forefather Moses. These are from the Lord Most High. The Lord is telling us that we are a holy people. What does holy mean? Holy means to be separate. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian people, which are part of the 12 lost tribes, we are supposed to be a separate people. You understand? Why we are supposed to be a separate people? Because we was given our own laws, our own customs, our own high holy days and feast days. You understand? When we're going down into the class, they're going to understand how we as a people mixed up and got intermingled with all these other nations and their ways. You understand? Now we are the bottom of society. Black people are the bottom, and we can't seem to find our way out of the condition that we're in. We can't seem to find our way to the top that the Lord wants us to be. Why? Because we don't understand the things that was given to us by our forefathers, right? So the Lord saying that we are holy people. Holy means separate, just Kodash in the Hebrew, right? So the Lord is saying, for thou, you black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you are that thou. But thou art an holy people. Holy meaning separate. So the Lord is saying, you are supposed to be a separate people unto the Lord thy God, unto the Most High. You understand? The Lord thy God had chosen thee. So which means out of all the people on the earth, the Lord has chosen thee, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to be a special people unto himself. Just like we will have, some of us might have vehicles or houses or whatsoever the case might be. It has some things that we have, we know that is special unto us. You understand? They don't want nobody touch it, they don't want nobody drive it, they don't want nobody ride it, they don't want nobody go around that at all. You understand? Because that's special to you. All the other things they could deal with. But what was special to you, you didn't want nobody deal with that. So the Lord is saying, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, we, as a people, we are that special people. You understand? Unto him. Right? So the Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So now, when you look at all these other nations on the face of the earth, the Lord is telling us that we're supposed to be special, holy, which means separate, and also be above. You understand? All these nations on the earth. Again, we're supposed to be the ruling class, ruling over these nations in righteousness. Right now, when you look, black people, we are the bottom. And we're seeing who is the ruling class. We're seeing the ones who are above. You understand? Which is the oppressor, the so-called white man. You understand? The devil, the Bible calls the so-called oppressor the devil, which means deceiver. So we see in the deceiver, the deceptive one, is above all nations on the face of the earth. You understand? That basic knowledge. We can see that, but it is recorded in our document. It is recorded in our book, in our history. You understand? The Lord wants us, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, to be separate, to be holy. He wants us to be above all people. But we can be above all people. We can be separate. We can be holy if we continue following after the ways of these other nations. You understand? Following after their customs, following after their ways, following after their heritage. We have to be able to identify our heritage. We have to be able to identify our ways. You understand? Our practices, our culture. This is what we as a people need to know, need to understand, need to bring back, you understand, into our society, into our nation. Because all these other races, all these other nations, they have their culture, they have their way, they have their traditions, they have their customs. You understand? And they keep showing it amongst their people, meaning their generation, their children, children, and children thereafter. You understand? You're not seeing the East Indian man destroyed, not knowing his heritage. You understand? Or the Chinese, or the 1%. You're not seeing them being destroyed or their people destroyed, and they can't recall their history, they can't recall their culture and these things. Only black people. You understand? You ask black people in nationality, you don't know, Trinidadian. You understand? Most of us, we want to fly back to Africa. Yes, we came from Africa on the transatlantic slave trade, but that is not our home. Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. You understand? We are not, and we was not taught our ways from young coming up. In this school system, we wasn't taught that. You understand? Our foreparents was whipped and beaten. You understand? For they to forget their heritage, for they to not be able to pass that on to our people. Some of the older generation, they died, not passing on certain information to the younger ones. So now we growing up, not understanding who we are, not understanding the culture or the way. The most we could hold on to as black people right now is religion. When I say religion, we're talking about who want to be Oratian, who want to be Baptist, and who want to be Pentecostal. That's what we could hold on to. Because that's what we was taught. You understand? By our foreparents before us. You understand? That is what we was taught. So now that is what we have to hold on to. And then if we don't understand that we are that separate people or that holy people or the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel like the Lord wants us to be, we're going to take that same thing and pass it down to the children after us and their children and their children. And then we will end up in this cycle or this plague, I will call it a plague, or this place of a generational curse. You understand? And our people will always remain at the bottom, right? So now we go into the book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20, right? Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20 to 21, right? The book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. Now this we have to understand as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The Lord say only give us the bread of adversity, you understand, which is difficult and unpleasant situations. When you look at Black people today, you understand, filling up the jailhouse, Black and Black crime, you understand. When you look at our whole healthcare system, to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, not proper, not right, because we eating all kind of things that the Lord tell us not to eat. You understand? And these things recorded in the Bible, we have a whole dietary law for Black people. So now when you see Black people high in cholesterol, high in heart disease, high in all these ailments, you understand? Osteoporosis, arthritis. When we go to the doctor, you know, the doctor start rationing us off. And the things we're not supposed to eat. Do eat red meat, do eat shark, do eat this, do eat that, do eat duck. It is eat duck, do eat duck. These things recorded in our records. You understand? We are not supposed to be eating certain foods as Black people. You understand? But again, we intermingle with these other nations and they eating the duck, the curry thing, and the pepper pot. You understand what I'm saying? And they have their tradition of how they do things and we follow it. We're just going to end up in that snake, generation after generation. You understand? And then we want to, like, if you go, for example, you go on your Google, Black people, like who is the highest in cholesterol? You see Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, and then who are in high blood pressure, hypertension. We are the top of the list. You understand? But Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, the Lord gave us our laws. The Lord gave us our rules. You understand? And now we have to follow it. The religious leaders, they're not going to teach you that because they're not here for it. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to get up within we skull. The religious leaders is not here to help no ghetto, to help no Black people understand what is in this book. You understand? But in the ISUPK under commanding General Yahana, brick by brick, piece by piece, we're going to make Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians understand and know their true culture, their true history, their true heritage, and what we as a people need to do. We come back to the laws of the Most High. You understand? Put on all these foods that we're not supposed to eat before the class start. But I'll play it again. Right? Before the class start, I play a video we're talking about holiday heart syndrome. You understand? And that's something these doctors recognize from since the 1970s that coming close to Christmas, people suffering heart attacks and having heart failure at a high rate. And throughout the year, it's not like that, but when coming to Christmas. You understand? And the same is because of the foods, the alcohol, and these different things, the stress. So we don't understand if we as a people know that we're not supposed to be celebrating Christmas, stress level will be high. We ain't gonna be running in the bush to get wild meat. You understand? All these things that the Lord tell us not to eat, to come back and put it on our plate. You understand? And when we eat that now, it's now we body, we system have to try to purge it out. Put in our heart under much distress, and we don't even know. You understand? But this ain't died since 1970. These doctors recognize that coming to Christmas time. The highest rate of hypertension, the highest rate of heart failure is wrong that season. No other time of the year. You understand? But I'll play that video again. So the Lord is telling us, all He give us the bread of adversity, the water of affliction. You understand? All the Black people going through all this pain, all this suffering, Black and Black crime, all this brutality. You understand? Women are having to do abortion. You understand? And all these different things, all the Black people suffering. The Lord saying, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore. What does that mean? It means that the teachers that's supposed to teach Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their true culture, their true history, the laws of God, they're not going to be removed in a corner anymore. Why the Lord saying they wouldn't be moved into a corner anymore? Because at one time, they was in a corner. Why they was in a corner? Because of religion, the Christian church. You understand? Because we didn't know who we are. When these religions come and the push, what are the push? They're pushing the agenda of the oppressor, which is the white man. They're not pushing the things to teach black people. Prosperity doctrine they're going to push. They're going to push, make sure you pay your tithes. You understand? But they're not going to show the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, hey, he's a part of the 12 lost tribe of the nation of Israel. The angel's black. Christ was a black man. That image is celebrated for years, generation after generation. I have 4 parents, grandparents that believed, and great-grandparents before them that believed that was Christ, that white image they give us. You understand? They died believing that is Christ. You understand? And Barakataya, why our shy for this truth. Now we and my generation after will understand that that image that they give unto us, that is not Christ. They will understand that Christ is a black man, and now they will going to teach their children that, and the children thereafter. And once we hold on to this truth, hold on to the laws that was given to us, you understand, the dietary law and all these different things, how we supposed to be with our brothers and sisters, how we supposed to live. You understand? The customs of these heathens, it is going to fall away, because now we will come back to being the people that the Lord wants us to be. You understand? The Lord is telling us that the teachers will not be removing that corner no more. That is why the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is here. That is why we have classes every day. We teach Hebrew on the Friday. We have the Sabbath service, and we're out on the streets, waking brothers and sisters up to let them know who they are, to let them know, hey, it's time to put down these religions. It's time to put down these false gods. You understand? It's time for us to wake up and shed ourselves from this cloak that we have, one that is not a cloak of ours. These are the cloaks of the other nation. Time to put on our own armor. It's time for us to put on our own culture, because we have it right here in this book. You understand? And religious leaders hold this book, go up on the pulpit and not teaching black people nothing from inside it. But again, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is here. We're going to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians until the Lord crack that sky. You understand? So the Lord is saying, the teachers will not be removed in a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Now you're going to see the true teachers of this book called the Bible. Now you're going to see the true teachers of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Verse 21. And thy ears shall hear a word behind thee saying. Why it's saying that? Because why is you traversing up, down, left, right, and doing their daily duties? This is the way. You're going to hear blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians saying, this is the way. This is the culture of black people. This is what we need to do. Stop eat this. This is how we need to dress. Stop commit abortion. Stop smoke weed. You understand? These cries is letting our people know this is the way. You're going to see brothers on the street corners saying, this is the way. Stop eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Put on Christmas. You understand? That have nothing to do with Jesus Christ. Put on New Year's. That have nothing to do with Jesus Christ. That have nothing to do with the rolling in of the New Year. You understand? Put down these man-made traditions, these man-made holidays. This is the way. That is what we're going to hear. You understand? And thine ear shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. This is what we as a people need to do. This is how we need to walk. Walk in what is in this book. Follow the Most High laws, his commandments, his statutes, his judgments. You understand? This is the light, this is the lamp unto the foot of the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. This is the way. You understand? Walk ye in it. When he turn to the right hand and when he turn to the left. You understand? We have to continue in this way. We have to continue in our culture. We have to continue what the Lord give us as a people. But if we keep going back to these other nations, or we neglect to hear what the Lord telling us, then what's going to happen? We're going to continue following all these other nations. You understand? The Lord tell us, just paraphrasing, you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, you are the salt of the earth. You understand? Black people is the one that gives the earth its flavor. You know, we go say we number one in running and jumping and vibes and style. You understand? But something we have to really put in our brain, in our skull. The Lord say you are the salt of the earth. We was given the laws of the Most High. And these laws is going to give the earth its flavor. These laws is going to give the earth its savor. When black people come back to their culture, you understand? Just watching, for example, like the Passover, for example, staying from Trinidad and watching it. You understand? Watching on the Lord's Passover and you realizing how glorious black people culture is. Listening at these feast days, watching these feast days, observing how things could be. You understand? We knowing that black culture is the culture. This is going to flavor and savor the earth. But the Lord still come back and say, if the salt does its savor, who is going to savor it? Because these other nations, they don't have the flavor like black people. These other nations is not coming to give back black people their flavor. You understand? They're not coming to do that because it is not in them. But we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we was given a treasure that we have to always hold on to and remember and do as the Lord tells us to do. Teach it to our children. Teach it to the children after us. You understand? That when we close, where are we going? These children, our generation behind us, is going to be raised as righteous young men and young women. And they're going to continue in that tradition. Just like these other nations do with theirs. I'm not saying the righteous, but just like they give their siblings, the younger generation, their culture and their ways. Like for example, right? I was watching something with Kim Jong-un. You understand? I think he's a little sister, either a little sister or a little daughter. You understand? In the military period, and he's showing she certain things. You understand? And don't get kicks, don't get tapped. These nations, they're making sure and show the younger ones everything they need to know. That is why we say these school doors is open 24/7. These numbers, but you can call it off the hook. Because we as a people need to come back to what the Lord tells us to do. You understand? And understand it. And then pass it on to the people after us. You understand? Verse 22. You shall defile also the covering of your graven images of silver. You understand? And the ornament of thy molten images of gold. Thou shalt cast them away as a menstruous cloth. Thou shalt say it unto it, get the hands. So when we listen, as we are reading in verse 21, this is the way. We come and we start learning our culture, we start learning our laws. We're going to start happening. That Jesus cross that we just wear on our neck, you'll get rid of it. You'll get rid of all them crosses and Christian cross we have in the house. You understand? All these images of that white Jesus, we're going to get rid of all these things as a menstruous cloth. You understand? Because now we realizing we were sold lies. We were sold lies by the oppressor. We were sold lies by these other nations. You understand? But we didn't know our culture. We didn't know who we was. We didn't know our history. Our history for black people jam up in Africa. You understand? But the Bible shows it way before Africa. And what made us end up in Africa? What made us end up in these parts of the world? You understand? North, Central, and South America, where we were scattered, as the Bible says. You understand? So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. These where we have to understand. So from here, we go to we will go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. We go start at verse 14. Right? Book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 14. You shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which are around about you. So the Lord is telling us we shall not go after other gods. You understand? In Israel, in our culture, we only have one God, one power. These other nations, they have multiple gods. The East Indians have multiple gods. The Romans, which is so-called white man, they have multiple gods. You understand? Because they are gods for every day of the week. every month of the year, and all these different things. We only have one power, one God. Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. You understand? The Lord is telling us in the book of Deuteronomy, you shall not go after other gods. How are we going to go after other gods? Simply because we don't know ours. You understand? Simply because we don't know ours or we reject our God. So now we're going to go after other gods. The Lord telling us we should not go after other gods. You understand? Of the gods of the people which are wrong about you. So now what does that mean? These other nations, their gods, their way of life, their culture, you're not supposed to go after that. Their customs, Lord telling us no other God. You understand? Of the people which are wrong about you. Was 15. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against you and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. You understand? Because the Lord gave us our culture, He gave us our history, give us our heritage. When we go after these other gods, we anger in the Lord. Lord says He's going to destroy us from off the face of the earth. Verse 16. You should not tempt the Lord thy God as He tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord thy God. And here we say, diligently keep the commandment. Don't tempt the Lord. Don't pray we could go and deal with these other nations and their gods. You understand? And feel that the Lord ain't go to us nothing. Why are we in captivity now? Why are we under the foot of all these other nations now? Because we went after other gods. We didn't follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We didn't follow the God of our forefathers. We didn't follow the God that says He's a jealous God. You understand? We went and we do our own thing. We didn't want to serve the Lord. You understand? The Lord saying we should diligently keep the commandment. Diligently. Not just keep the commandment. We have to understand and figure out, hey, where we may go wrong. Try our best not to do it. Diligently. As we learning, start practicing. You understand? Diligently keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and His testimonies and statutes which He had commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord. Doing what is right and good in the sight of the Lord. For example, like how we end the feast of dedication of Hanukkah, that is right in the eyes of the Lord. You understand how we are the Feast of Purim and brothers and sisters organizing for the Lord's 57th annual Passover? These things is right and in the sight of the Lord. You understand? So let me just answer the door. You understand? So these things is right in the eyes of the Lord. So He's saying you should diligently keep the commandments. You understand? His testimonies, statutes. You understand? Which He had commanded thee, and thou shalt do what is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go to possess the good land which the Lord sware unto the fathers, unto thy fathers, to cast out thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord had spoken. You understand? So once we doing as the Lord command us to do, these nations wronged about us, they're going to be cast out. Right now, these nations is like a snake on the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Do you understand? Just paraphrasing the scripture, the Lord said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If we have to show we love the Most High, we have to show we love the Lord, we have to keep the Most High rules, keep His regulations. How will our child or children, you understand, show that they love their parents? By bringing them gifts. And when they walk outside, they're doing something different. By showing the mother, the father, the parents, keeping the rules. Whatever you laid up, we keeping it. Lord is like a father to the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. You understand? And for us to show the Most High that we love Him, we got to keep His rules. Don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Stop celebrating Christmas. Stop celebrating birthdays and Easter and New Year's Day. You understand? Understand judgment. You understand? Understand how to live with your brother and your sister. There are many rules in this Bible that tell us we should not serve other gods. Don't sleep with your brother. Don't sleep with your sister. Don't uncover your father nakedness, your mother nakedness. Everything is here for black people, for the government for black people to run, for the government of black people to function. Everything is in this Bible. And when you sit back and you watch the ways at these other nations with all their paganism and rituals, they're doing everything the Lord telling us not to do. You understand? From revelry to drunkenness to family sleeping with family to every wrong thing, abortion, everything. These nations do it. The Lord telling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, don't do it. That is not for you. That is where He tells you we are holy people. You understand? And holy again means separate. We have to be separate from these other nations. You understand? So we go into Psalms chapter 147. Psalms 147 and verse 19. Right? The book of Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. He showed His word unto Jacob. You understand? Rules, the laws, commandments, and statutes were shown unto Jacob, which is our forefather. You understand? As we always say, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. You understand? Jacob's name was changed to Israel. He became the father of these 12 children, these 12 tribes. You understand? So the word was shown unto Jacob, his statutes and judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. So the East Indians, the Chinese, the Syrians, the Assyrians, all these other races, the Lord have not dealt so with them. They wasn't showing His word. They wasn't showing His judgment. You understand? He have not dealt so with any nation. These rules and these laws was given to one people. You understand? And for His judgments, they have not known them. Praise the Lord. Which totally shows the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, we are a separate people. Separate from these other nations. You understand? These other nations and their ways, their customs, certain things that they do, it is recorded in the Bible. So now you can watch and realize who they are. How did this function? How did this operate? You understand? Then when you see in the contrast of it with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians and their rules, their laws, their regulation, you know it's something totally different. You understand? So let me hit Amos and let me go into Christmas. Right? So we go into Amos chapter 3. Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. The book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear ye, Salakia, hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel. You understand? Not speaking to everybody, not speaking to no other nation. Hear ye the word that the Lord speaketh to the children of Israel, these 12 tribes, against the whole family of the earth, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. You understand? Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. So now, once we sin against the Most High, the Lord is telling us that He's going to punish us for our sins, for our wrongdoings. You understand? So now we have to ask ourselves, what are some of the wrongdoings that we might be doing? When you go back into the law of the Most High, you're going to see exactly what we're doing wrong. You understand? We're going to Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Let me see one of the things that we as a people just do wrong. You understand? Generation after generation. And it might sound right because when you look at Christmas on a whole, the way how it is pushed on Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you may think it's something good to do because it joyous. They sell it to us as being joyous, something nice, something comforting, something that brings families together. You understand? So when they sell it to us in that particular way, that's how we will say they use propaganda and keep pushing it on us and on our people. You understand? And then we hold on to it. Let go what the Lord gave us, we hold on to it. then we now start teaching the people behind us. You understand? Because it's feeling good. It's music and eats and drinks and revelry and uncleanness and illicit sex and all these different things. But all these things do happen. All these things do go on. Around Christmas time, straight into New Year's, and other pagan holidays that was given to us by the oppressor. You understand? So we go into the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Right? Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. So now the Lord is speaking to the house of Israel again. You understand? Learn not, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. You understand? So the Lord is telling the children of Israel, which is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, do not learn the way of the heathen. Who are the heathen? All these other races around us. Just as we were reading before, the Lord said, do not follow these gods of the nations around you. You understand? Nations around you are heathens. You, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, you are separate. He said, learn not the way of the heathen. What are some of the ways of the heathen? The way, their customs, their holidays, the way how they live, you understand the things they eat, and all these different things. Their rules and their laws. The Lord is telling us as our people, don't learn their ways. You understand? And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Don't be dismayed at the stars and the moon and the sun and eclipses. You understand? And all these different things. Yes, it's true that our foreparents, they use the stars for navigation to move from one place to the next. You understand? And to find back points while sailing the seas. That is what our forefathers used that for. You understand? When they start coming to the school, you will realize and understand that the Lord spoke to Abraham through the stars, through the constellation. But the heathen, they are dismayed when they see the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper and the Milky Way. You understand? And eclipses and the moon, full moon, new moon, last quarter, first quarter, the heathen, they like them things. They dismayed at the signs of heaven. You understand? The Lord is telling us, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. You understand? The Lord is telling me of the heathen, they are dismayed at them. You understand? Again, the things that we as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are supposed to be doing, it is totally different from these other nations. It is totally different from how they operate. Totally different how they function. If we take a little time out and we watch, you understand? We observe these other nations, we will start to realize, hey, it's not going, it's not going the way how the Lord pronounced it to go. We not following after the ways that the Lord gave to us as our people. You understand? He said, for the heathen are dismayed at them, for the custom of the people are vain. What are the customs? The way how they live, the culture, the traditions. You understand? No, well, that was going too long. Yeah. For the customs of the people are vain. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 3. Yeah, to what else?
Book of Jeremiah 10 verse 3. For the custom of the people are vain.
So the Lord is telling us that the custom of the people are vain. You understand what is their custom, their culture, the way how they move, the way how they operate, the way how they function. The Lord is telling us it is vain. It is nothing. Go ahead.
For one cut a tree out of the forest.
For one do what?
Cut a tree out of the forest.
You understand? If you're looking at the screen right now, you're seeing whereby the Lord is showing us what happens around this time? One cutting a tree out of the forest. Go ahead.
The work of the hands of the workman.
Work of the hands of the workman with the axe. This is their custom. This is the custom of the Eden. They go into the forest, you understand, with their axe. Right now we have Salakia. Oh. Yeah, take it out. You just want to press down. Right. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. You understand? So they go into the forest, the tree with the axe. Right now it have it more modernized now where people use the saw, the chainsaw to cut it, but it's the same process. They go to the forest and they cut this tree with the axe, right? Go ahead.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
Right? The work of the Salakia, the work of the hands of the handman with the axe. So we see it, they go to cut the tree. And then now they take this tree. You understand? They carry it home. And what they do? They deck it with silver and gold. That was the original custom of how they will deal with the Christmas tree. You understand? But now it have multiple colors, blue, yellow, green, whatever the case might be. But silver and gold was the theme.
Right.
At that time. You understand? But even if the colors change, same custom. You understand? Same principle of following. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
They fasten it with the nails and with the hammers.
They fasten it with what?
The nails and with the hammers.
And if you look at any image, right? You see how when they bring the tree in the house. Yes, I'm again. Right? If you look, when they bring the tree in the house, they have something at the bottom there to hold it. Back then, they're using hammer and nail to fasten it so that the tree would move. Now they have stands and all different designer things for the tree not to fall and collapse. You understand? But the Lord is telling us to deck this tree. They go in the forest, they cut this tree, they bring it out. You understand? They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with hammer and with nails. The only part of the tree they fasten it with hammer and nails is the foot. That's for it to stand up. Why they fasten it with hammer and with nails? That it move not. You understand? That it does not move from that spot where they happen. You understand? This going right into the Christmas tree, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
They are upright as the palm tree.
They are what?
Upright as the palm tree.
They are upright as the palm tree. When you look at a palm tree, you're seeing that tree upright and tall. It's standing straight.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
But speak not.
But what?
Speak not.
But the tree doesn't tell you nothing. The tree don't have a voice. It can't tell you, hey, do this or do that. It speak not. Go ahead.
They must needs be born.
They must needs be born, meaning they must needs be carried. When they cut these trees, this is something dead. They cut it, it's dead. You have to carry it. You understand? It does not talk to you. It didn't tell you something good. It didn't tell you something bad. It must needs be born. You have to carry this tree into your house or wherever you decide to put it. You understand? Go ahead.
They cannot go.
They what?
They cannot go.
Why they cannot go? The tree can't move on its own. It's a dead tree. You understand? You cut it above the roots, it's dead. Go ahead.
Be not afraid of them.
Don't be afraid of them, because back then, right? I don't have this clip here today, but back then they used to use the Christmas tree to frighten children before it becomes something as it is today. The Christmas tree do have a dark history. It do have a dark way. You understand? Go ahead.
The
book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 5. Almost to the end of verse 5. Be not afraid of them.
Start from there?
Can't. No sweat.
All right, to order. Right. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 5. Be not afraid of them.
Don't be afraid of the Christmas tree. Go ahead.
For they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good.
Don't be afraid of the Christmas tree. Christmas tree can't do evil. Neither is something that could do good. You understand? So they like to say, like, you know, how did this tie Christmas with the birth of Jesus Christ and all these different things. And you know, once you have a tree in your house, you're being blessed. That all that is a lie. The Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, Christmas is a lie. Christmas is something that we as a people are not supposed to be celebrating. You understand? When they're blending in all these religions and all these holidays with the Bible, that is something that is called synchronism. You understand? And I'll give you the definition of it. We're going to it later on as the class going on because it's broad. You understand? Synchronism is the blending and merging of different beliefs, religion, cultures, or philosophies into a new combined system. You understand? So all these holidays that was given to us by man, this was synchronized. You understand? With the Bible. Now we can't understand how we as a people should separate it. You understand? But Lord allow, once we have the time tonight, we will go into the synchronism a little more and you will understand how to separate it. You understand? So we're going to get into a little history of the Christmas tree. The Lord tells us, don't follow the way of the heathen, custom of the heathen are paid. But one cut the tree out of the forest, as you seen on the video here, the work of the handman with the axe. So you see they use the axe to cut it before things modernized and changed. So they have regular saw they used to cut the Christmas tree. You understand? So the Lord saying Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1, they deck it with silver and gold, they fasten with nails that will move not. Now we're going to go into the history of the Christmas tree. You understand? For our people to understand what this tree is all about, what Christmas is all about. You understand? What these holidays that was given to us by the oppressor, by man, is all about. Because we as a people, as we read earlier on today, the Lord tells us we are supposed to be holy, we are supposed to be separate. All right, so we're going into the history of the Christmas tree. Nimrod, we're starting there, is the original Lord, the Catholic Christ Mass. Here's the story that's highly documented in many cultures because Christmas is not excluded to one culture. You understand? Nimrod started a great organized worldly apostasy from God that has dominated the world until now. Why they say he dominated? It dominated till now, and why they say it was organized, the worldly apostasy from God, is because at that time they made all people believe this custom, this tradition is from the Lord. You understand? When it have nothing to do with the Most High, nothing to do with the prophets, nothing to do with the Bible. Right? So now it dominated the world until now. Nimrod married his own mother, whose name was Semiramis. You understand? And this is the custom of the heathen. These are the things that they do. They marry into their own family. You understand? They do all type of vile things, brother with sister and niece with nephew and uncle with niece and all these different things. These is the ways of these other nations. That is why the Lord tells us broadly, learn not the way of the heathen. You understand? The Lord tells us that. Don't learn their ways. Now, if you take a little time and start studying the ways of the heathen, you're going to see how vile and how much of a beast these other nations are. The Lord tells us, learn not the way of the heathen. You understand? So now it's saying that Nimrod married into his own mother, whose name was Semiramis. Give me the book of Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 7, Papa Pusha. Anybody that have it can read it. So what?
Read.
Where does it happen?
All right. Book of Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 7. The nakedness of thy father.
Do what?
The nakedness of thy father. Or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover.
This is what makes blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians separate from these other nations. They're saying that Nimrod married his own mother. Lord is telling us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, nakedness of the father, nakedness of your mother, you should not uncover. You understand? And black people know that from, it's something rooted in them because, you know, That nasty as hell. But this is what these heathens do. This is what these other nations do. When you watch it all over social media, you're doing your own thing, scrolling and trying to learn something just popping up. You understand? This is the custom of these other nations. That's why the Lord saying we are separate, we are holy. It's given to us in our law that we are not supposed to do these things. You understand? That is the end of that?
Lastly,
Go ahead.
she is thy mother.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
That is the end of that?
Come on, God.
Right. See?
Verse 7, end of verse 7.
Nah, right. That's good. You understand? That is what we as a people not supposed to be doing. These basic things is in our laws. You understand? If the religious leaders was teaching this to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, teaching this to our people, now we will know how vile and how vague these other nations is. How these other nations are. You understand? We're going on a little bit more again. After Nimrod's death, his so-called mother's /wife, Semiramis, propagated the evil doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit being. So now after Nimrod death, she's saying that he is alive, but he's a spirit, right? She claimed a full-grown evergreen tree. So now she's saying a full-grown evergreen tree sprang overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized spring forth unto new life of the death of Nimrod. You understand? So what she's saying is that now Nimrod is back and alive, but as a spirit. You understand? On each anniversary of his birth, she claimed Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. You understand? December the 25th was the birthday of Nimrod. Somebody give me the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and verse 5 to 6 before we go a little bit more. You understand? So she now propagated this, making people believe that Nimrod was alive again, and he sprang up from a dead tree stump from an evergreen tree. You understand? Robert, I can read it and I don't know sweat. I can read it, I don't know see.
So I guess I'll call the book and verse again, Babakasha.
The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 5.
Ecclesiasticus.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 9. Sorry, not 5. Chapter 9 and verse 5. Sorry. Something wrong. Hold on.
Okay.
Right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9. Sorry, not Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 5.
Come on. Read.
Yeah, as I have it.
All right, come on. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and verse 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 5. For the living know that they shall die.
Understand? People that living, for the living, the Lord is telling me that we know one day we're going to die. Go ahead.
But the dead know not anything.
The dead knows what?
Anything. No, not anything.
When you die, you knows not anything. Go ahead.
Come on. Mm-hmm. Neither have they any more a reward, for the memory of them is forgotten.
Neither they have no reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. So when somebody dies, you understand? You go back to the Most High, as the scriptures say. If you judge, you come back on the earth. So Semiramis is saying, you understand, that Nimrod died and come back again. The spirit in the evergreen tree. But the Lord is telling blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, when they die, you understand? They knows nothing. That is it. So now when you're reading, you're understanding that these customs is just a lie. Keep coming down from that time to now. You understand? And in 2025, moving on to 2026, our people still following the tradition of Christmas. And even if you tell them it's after Nimrod, if himself you tell them it's after another god, they're doing it for the children. But then if you're doing it for the children, they're just teaching the children generational curses. Now we would step away from the custom of these heathens and go into the custom which was given to us by our forefathers. You understand? Continuing again, the real origin of Christmas goes back to ancient Babylon. So since ancient Babylon is celebrating Christmas. It is bound up in the organized apostasy which has gripped the deceived world these many centuries. In Egypt, it was always believed that the son of Isis, Egyptian name for Queen of Heaven, you understand, Queen of Heaven goes straight into the Easter celebrations also, was born on December 25th. Paganism celebrated this famous birthday over most of the known world for centuries before the birth of Christ. December 25th is not the birthday of Jesus, the true Christ, which we're going to go into next week, Lord allow. You understand? So you're going to understand and know that the 25th of December has nothing to do with Jesus Christ, has nothing to do with the mother and child. We're going to go into the mother and child, and you're going to see whereby that was something that was derived from pagan customs. You understand? The apostles and early true church never celebrated Christ's birthday at any time. There is no command or instruction to celebrate it in the Bible. Rather, the celebration of birthdays is a pagan, not a Christian custom, believe it or not. You understand? Again, we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we don't celebrate birthdays, we don't celebrate Easter, we don't celebrate none of these pagan holidays. They also talk about Shalom. Thus, the ancient idolatrous Chaldean mysteries found by this wife of Nimrod have been handed down through the pagan religions under new Christian sounding names. You understand? So as time going along, the names of these different holidays, these different customs are starting to change, starting to blend in, right? But if we got Christmas from the Roman Catholics, the pagans, and they got it from paganism, where did the pagans get it? Where, when? And what was its real origin? From many ancient writings, considerable, it was learned of this man who started great organized worldly apostasy from God that has dominated the world, as I was reading earlier on. Right? Dealing with Nimrod, right? And make people believe this is a custom that we as a people are supposed to follow. Right? Nimrod was so evil, it is said he married his own mother, whose name was Semiramis. After Nimrod's untimely death, his so-called mother/wife Semiramis propagated the evil doctrine of the survival of Nimrod as a spirit. She claimed a full-grown evergreen tree sprang out overnight from a dead tree stump, which symbolized the springing forth onto new life of the dead Nimrod. On each anniversary of his birth, she claimed Nimrod would visit the evergreen tree and leave gifts upon it. December 25th was the birthday of Nimrod. This is the real origin of Christmas. You understand? So they're saying that Nimrod would come and leave gifts under the tree. You understand? This custom came down from Babylon. It came down from the Romans, the pagans. You understand? But if you say Nimrod come in and leave gifts under the tree, then who's Santa Claus? You understand? How Santa Claus come and get tired now leaving gifts under the tree? You getting what I'm saying? That is what we are just reading. We're talking about synchronism. These things, you understand that they're joining pagan customs with the Bible and making our people confused. But again, we're not going to go into Santa or Saint Nick tonight. You understand? We're focusing on Nimrod and Semiramis. Right next to Lord Allah, we're going to Santa, the mistletoe, and all the different things. Those scheming and designing, Semiramis became the Babylonian Queen of Heaven, and Nimrod, under various names, became the divine son of heaven. So she is the queen, he is the son, right? Though through the generations, in this idolous worship, Nimrod also became the false messiah son of Baal, son of Baal. In this false Babylonian system, the mother and child, which is Semiramis and Nimrod reborn, became chief objects of worship. That is why now we have the mother and child image that we just be seeing throughout this Christmas celebration. We're just saying is Mary and Jesus. You understand? But that actually symbolizes Semiramis, you understand, and Nimrod. Right? The worship of mother and child spread over the world. Names varied in different countries and languages. In Egypt, it was Isis and Osiris. In Asia, Cybele and Dionysus. In pagan Rome, Fortuna and Jupiter. Even in Greece, China, Japan, Tibet, it was found as a counterpart of the Madonna long before the birth of Christ. So which means these things happened long before Christ's birth. You understand? Remember, it was our old Babylonian custom. Right? Thus, during the 4th and 5th centuries, the pagans of the Roman world were accepting the new popular Christianity, going back to synchronism again, by the hundreds of thousands carrying their old pagan customs and beliefs with them, merely cloaking them with Christian sounding names, the Madonna, the mother with child, and all these different things. You understand? So you see whereby these names just change, these customs just continue under different names. You understand? And it keep coming down from generation to generation, and we just feed it into our people. It was no more astronomical festival then that. It was mere astronomical festival then that the pagans celebrated at the winter solstice. The festival at Rome was called the Feast of Saturn, and the mode in which it was celebrated there showed whence it had been derived. The feast, regulated by Kaluga, lasted 5 days. You understand? Loose reins were given to drunkenness and revelry. Slaves had temporary emancipation. So it's showing you what this celebration was all about. Christmas had nothing to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. Drunkenness, revelry. And at that time, slaves was given what? Leeway to do what they want. You understand? So which means they're going to do what? The same thing. Drunkenness and revelry. Just like these pagans. You understand? So they was given temporary emancipation and used all manner of freedoms with their master, which means they could do as a piece. The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, the tree was the palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir. The palm tree denoting the pagan Messiah as Baal Tamar. The fir referring to him as Baal Berith, the mother of Adonis, the sun god and great mediatorial divinity, was mystically said to have been changed into a tree. And when in that state, they have brought forth the divine son. So you're seeing whereby all these things is just pagan customs and pagan ways, right? There's a lot more, but I'm not going to go into all that tonight, right? So it goes to show that this Christmas holiday, this Christmas tree, is not part of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian culture. It's not part of the custom. It's not part of the way. All we have to do as a people is just do a little history, do a little research, do a little homework, and we realize these customs is not after our culture, right? Like when you look at New Year's Day, you understand? New Year's Day have nothing to do with our people. New Year's Day have nothing to do with, like, quote unquote, the New Year. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely not. All these things we have to get, all these things we have to understand. You understand? Give me the book of Titus chapter 1 and verse 14, Baba Pusha. Anybody have it? Read it. If I can't read it, I go take it. No sweat. Titus chapter 1 and verse 14.
Titus chapter 1 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
Not giving heed to what?
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
And this is what we have as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So I could appoint somebody there. The Titus chapter 1, Bible chapter 1 and verse 14. Can.
not giving heed to Jewish fables.
We as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are not supposed to give heed to Jewish fables. You understand? All these lies, all these fables, all these tales, we as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are not supposed to listen to it. Why? Because we have our own way. We have our own rules, we have our own laws, we have our own customs. You understand? Go ahead.
That's one more thing. Remember this Christian church. If men think there is a Christian church,
Right.
then you're wrong place.
Right.
So use it each other.
Okay.
Like always reading it, men are men.
Right. No, here we go. So like I say family, right? Here we go. On this it with the whole how it lay down now. That's how it just lay down. Yeah. Can. Yeah. Can. No sir. Can. Yeah. Can. Right. Take it from the back, Baba Kusha.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables and the commandments of men.
You understand? So we as a people are not supposed to give heed to Jewish fables or commandments of men. The way of men do things, their traditions, their customs, their ways, their laws. You understand? Just like again, how we have all these holidays are traditions and commandments of men. We are not to follow these things, but follow what the Most High give us to his prophets. You understand? Go ahead. Take it from the top one more time, Baba Kusha.
Not giving heed to Jewish fables.
So we are not supposed to give heed to Jewish fables. You understand? Things that is lies, things that is not profitable to the so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Go ahead.
And commandments of men that turn from the truth.
Men that what?
And the commandments of men
that
turn from the truth.
Men that turn from the truth. Men that does not want to follow what the Lord lay out. So-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. That is the religious leader, right? You understand? They don't want to follow after the truth. They turn after the truth. You understand? The Lord is telling us, don't listen to the Jewish fables and men that does not follow after what the Lord recommends for us as a people to follow. Give me the book of Amos chapter 5 and verse 1, Baba Kusha.
The book of Amos.
Just now, hold on, slack it. Catch up with it. Amos 5 and verse 21. Huh? Right. Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
The book of Amos chapter 5 and verse 21.
Go ahead.
I hate.
I what?
I hate. I despise your feast days.
The Lord is telling us through his prophet, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, that he hates. He hates and he despises the feast days, your feast days. Not the feast days that he gave to us. You understand? All these traditions, all these customs of these other nations that we follow, that we think is right, that we think is after the Most High, the Lord is telling us that he hates and he despises our feast days. You understand? Go ahead.
And I will not smell in your solemn assembly.
And I will not what?
And I will not smell in your solemn assembly.
And wherever you gather so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, with these pagan holidays, with this Christmas and this Easter and these birthdays, the Lord is telling us he's not going to smell at our solemn assembly. You understand? What the Lord is going to favor is that we as a people return and start keeping his rules, his laws, his commandments, his high holy days, his feast days. You understand? The Lord tells us obedience is better than sacrifice. You understand? So it's right for us to be obedient to do the things of the Most High. You understand? Because this is what the Lord requires from us. Obedience. But if we are not being taught certain things, we are not being taught the right things, we are not being taught the truth, then we're going to go and do our own thing. We're going to go our own way. You understand? And we're going to follow things that is not profitable to the nation of Israel. We're going to follow things that is not right in the sight of the Lord. You understand? Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Though ye offer me burnt offerings.
Do you what?
Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them.
The Lord is saying He's not going to accept the burnt offering and the meat offering. You can cook up what dish. We can make what? We could boil, we could bake, we could do whatever, we could fry. The Lord saying He's not going to do what?
I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat.
The Lord saying He's not going to accept it, and He's not going to regard offerings of a fat beast. We can take out the best lamb, best goat. The Lord saying He's not going to accept it. You understand? Word about Kusha?
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy voice.
The Lord saying, take away the noise of the songs, all these Christmas carols, this Christmas music, these parang, all these different things. The Lord saying, take away the noise. You understand? Of thy songs. These things wasn't given to us. The Lord don't want to hear that. You understand? The Lord saying He don't want to hear the melody of your viols. These things wasn't given to us as a people. We start to follow after these other nations, but the Lord is not hearing that. We could sing how hard we want. We could integrate Jesus in the Christmas. As I was saying in one of the songs, put Jesus in the Christmas. We could integrate Jesus how much we want in the Christmas. The Lord saying He's not going to hear the noise of the viols. You understand? Whole day, whole night we could play. Whole day, whole night we could shake, shack, shack. We could beat bass drum. The Lord saying He's not going to hear that. You understand? Take away the noise of the songs. Go ahead. Start with 4. For what? In verse 23.
Verse 23. For I will not hear the melody of thy viols.
Lord saying He's not going to hear the melody of our viols. All these instruments using, He's not going to hear the melody of it. Give me Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1, Baba Kusha. He's not going to hear that so-called black man, Hispanic man, and living there. No matter how much we shake, we beat, we pump, the Lord ain't going to hear that. Because why? These things was not given to us so-called black man, Hispanic man, and living there. You understand? Right? When you have it, Baba Kusha.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, verse 2, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
I am the what?
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So the Lord spake all His words, and He's saying, I am the Lord thy God. I am the one that bring you, so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, out of the land of Egypt, out of all these perils. You understand? Out of all this oppression that he was going on down, that he was under the hands of Pharaoh. You understand? I, as the Lord, made these things happen. The Red Sea part, and we come out between the Red Sea. You understand? All these plagues hit Egypt. These 10 plagues. The Lord saying, I is the one that do that. Go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage. Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
The Lord is saying that we should not have no other gods before Him. You understand? And just as we were reading a little bit earlier during the class, the only reason why we have gods of these other nations is because we don't know our power. We don't know our culture. We don't know our laws, our rules, our regulations. We don't know who we are. So we're going to hold on to these other nations and their culture, their ways, and believe that their God is ours. You understand? Again, in 2025, still going into 2026, people going and believe that that white image is still Christ. It's still the God over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But the Lord is telling us we should have no other gods before him. Go ahead.
Verse 4, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Lord saying that we should not make unto him any graven image. You understand? Not only the Christian cross, you understand it had the fish peace sign. You understand? Some people make the images of white Jesus and hang it up in the car. You understand? We had the cobbler stone. That is not from our people. That is not of our people. There are many different graven images. The Lord saying we should do what?
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Go ahead.
Or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above.
That is in the heaven above. Go ahead.
Or that is in the earth beneath.
Or that is in the earth beneath. Anything above or anything below. The Lord telling us to not make any graven images. Go ahead.
Or that is in the water underneath the earth.
Or that is in the water underneath the earth. Not near sea. So-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, above, below, in the waters, make no images, graven images of it. You understand? Yes, it have a description of what Christ would look like in the Bible. That is not a graven image. You understand? Go ahead, Baba Kusha.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
You shouldn't do what?
Bow down thyself to them.
Don't bow down yourself. Don't worship it, so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Because that it have no power. That is not your God. Lord is telling us, don't bow down yourself to them. Go ahead. Don't serve it.
Nor serve them.
Go ahead.
For I am the Lord thy God. I'm a jealous God.
Lord saying that he is a jealous God. He's a jealous power. Go ahead.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers above the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Visiting the sins of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. This is what we don't understand. If we continue serving these other gods, not understanding who our God is, not understanding who our power is, we continue sinning before the Lord. You understand? By continuing in these traditions of these other nations, the Lord is saying he's going to visit the sin of us unto our generation. What generation? The third and fourth generation. You understand? The generation that is after us, they're going to pay for the things that we did. So-called black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. If we truly fear the Lord, we truly want to change, we truly want to repent from our ways, then we have to cling and follow after the things that was given to us by our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moses, and these prophets. You understand? Go ahead. Continue. Start from visiting the Father, Baba Kusha.
Visiting the iniquities of the fathers above the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Unto the what?
Unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me.
Of them that do what?
Of them that hate me.
Of them that hate the Lord. Of them who do not want to follow what the Lord says. Because my way is right. You understand? I don't want to follow after what the Lord command me to do. I don't want to follow after the high holy days that he said we need to follow. I don't want to follow after the Lord ways, the tradition, the customs, the things that he leave for black people to follow, to make their nation become that great nation that all these other nations say, yeah, surely these are wise and understanding people. I don't want to follow after them. You understand? I want to follow after the ways of these other nations because they are being prosperous in that way. You understand? The Lord is telling us he's going to visit the iniquity of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of them that do what? Hate him. Why is he of them that hate him? Because we're not continuing in his ways. We're not continuing in his traditions and in his laws. You understand? Give me John 14 and 15, Baba Kusha.
of John, chapter 14, and verse 15.
Go ahead.
If ye love me,
You do what?
if ye love me, keep my commandments.
This is what we have to do if we're showing that we love Lord. If we're showing that we want to follow after Christ, you understand? Follow after the prophets, the things that they say, the things that they do. The Lord is telling us if we love him, we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we need to do what? Keep his commandments. You understand? We're not just talking about the in the book of Exodus where it have thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, all what the Lord commands us to do. That way he say is what? Commandments. Keep his commandments. This is what we have to do as a people. To show that we love the Most High. To show that we are in alliance with the Most High. Keep his commandments. You understand? So now we have to do what? Remove ourselves away from all these traditions, all these Christmas and Easter and birthdays and all these things. We have to remove ourselves away from that. You understand? And start understanding, start learning what the Lord requires from us, as we are saying, being the Feast of Dedication of Hanukkah. After that is the Feast of Purim. You understand? After that is the Lord Passover. We have our own ways and our own customs that we as a people supposed to be doing in order for us to come up, in order for us to be above all these other nations. But it is not being taught us outside of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? The Lord is telling us, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, if we love him, keep his commandments. You understand? And how do we show? Give me 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4, and we'll close up with that Baba Kusha. How will we show that we do not love the Most High? If he's saying, if you love me, keep my commandments, then it's going to have a way to show that we do not love the Most High. You understand? When you have it, go ahead, Baba Kusha.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2, and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments.
He that said, I know what?
He that saith, I know him.
One more time, Baba Kusha.
Book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments.
Lord is saying, he's saying they love the Most High, but they do not keep his commandments. They do not keep his laws and rules and regulations. The thing that he tells us as a people to do. The thing that he tells us as a people to follow. Go ahead.
Is a liar.
Is that what?
Is a liar.
One more time, Baba Kusha.
Is a liar.
Is a liar. Lord is telling you that so-called Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian. If he's saying these is the things that Black people need to do to be above all nations upon the face of the earth. If he's saying these are the things that Black people need to do, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But these other nations to say, yeah, surely these are wise and understanding people. You understand? And we're not doing it. We're not following the Most High rules, his laws, his commandments. The Lord is telling us what? These are what?
Is a liar.
Just a liar. You understand? Spirit after the white man. Is a deceiver. Go ahead.
And the truth.
The what?
And the truth is not in him.
And the truth is what?
And the truth is not in him.
The Lord is telling his so-called Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man that this truth that was kept through all the generations by our forefathers. You understand? This truth is not in him. That is coming from the mouth of the Most High. That is coming from the mouth of the Lord. This is the words of the Lord. This is not the words of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This is not my words. The Lord is telling the truth It's nothing. You understand? Because why? They refuse to follow the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. So the Most High, nah, I done with you. You understand? With that so-called black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man, remember the school location, like pool number 1, Morris Street in Point 14. If you need to contact the school, you need to contact the officer above me, contact Officer Suwape Alarm number 479-8286. The captain over the school, Captain Mashak PM at number 1202-701-4640. Check us out on all social media platforms. You understand? The next upcoming high holiday we have is the Feast of Purim. That will be Monday the 2nd and Tuesday the 3rd of March. Again, check us out on 91.9 FM every Thursday from 7 p.m. Myself and Officer Sawape Ala, who is the officer above me, going to be on the station from 7 p.m. You can call in, ask the questions. You understand? If you don't want to ask the questions directly live, send us a message on the same numbers we have for the WhatsApp. You understand? We go and say questions on the show or in class. And again, the Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, Houston, Texas. All people 17 years and above, $200. You understand? Children for 17, 16 years and under will be free. Right? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to priest and officer as well.
Security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 115th Street, New York, under Commandant General Yohan. New brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, you're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew is pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. You give to the church, the department or teacher. Priest fund, fuel offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation right now in the feast of dedication, which ends right about next 6 Sunday, right? And then after that, we have the feast of Purim, which is the 14th day and the 15th day, right, of the 12th month, which is March the 3rd and March the 2nd, Slovakia, and March the 3rd. It's Monday and Tuesday, March, right, and 2026. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. Right? Remind Akim, which means brothers, and Atwatian, which means sisters, to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If everybody wants to be a trip in the school, then it's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, banners, and all stuff. And that we say, imagine which means to stand. Upon your order, which means to turn and face the east, south, which means to turn. Lord, spread the Hebrew. Amanao. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Ayah. Shabbat. Yahweh. Malak Patra. Ba'a. Zaka. Ayah. Aisha. Ba'aratisa. Bawa. Ayah. Bashemayim. Kun. Manawa. Makam. Ka. Wam. Masalak no. What no? Masalak no. What no? Mala'a. Abayakaino. Manasai was. Abad. Awashaino. Ayan. Ra. Aya. Maka. Amalakwa. Baal. Atapara. Baibolemia. Aman.
Just said in English, our Father.
Our Father.
Chapter 9.
Abidani. Yahweh. Kingdom come. Will be done. Will be done.
Must this day. Daily bread. And forgive us. Debts. We forgive. Just not into temptation. deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. So be it. Sergeant Mr. Turn. I'm not visually going to give the teacher one good salute. I'm not visually going to Shabbat. March him. Rock. Yahweh Hashem. Yahweh Hashem. Dismiss.